Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bolters and Banter. I am your host, Tyler, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Nick.
Yeah, official now.
Yep, official. If you are new to the channel, we are Warhammer Podcast. We try to focus on stuff for newer players and some fun topics. We've been doing a lot of fun topics lately, but after this video, we'll probably do something about different game modes like Crusades and whatnot.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We're doing something a little more lighthearted, and I think this will resonate a lot for people who are getting into the universe, but maybe not necessarily the hobby.
This is a very topical episode, and I'm very mad at Nick that he wouldn't let me make it a tier list.
No, dude, we can only go so much slop. We did the freaking what your main says about you, and bro, I feel it. I feel it in my veins.
We had so many comments, just like, wow.
This is my
the blatantness of this.
This is my favorite flavor of slop. Well, little piggies, get back in the pen because we're doing it again. All right.
Alrighty. So, anyways, Nick, this is your brainchild. Go ahead and lay it in on us. What is this video about?
Okay, so like many people, when I first heard about Warhammer 40,000, honestly, I got into it from the Russian Badger videos. But I started reading about the universe, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I want to get into the hobby. Brother, I do not have hundreds of dollars or hours to spend on this hobby. At least not when I started. And so, video games I found set in the 40k universe, or just Warhammer universes in general, are a great gateway for new people to get into it. And it is through playing some of the video games and reading some of the books that I decided to try and pick up a Gazcool model. And that was the, first shot of heroin in the arm.
That was the oops.
Yeah, that was the oops.
So yeah, this episode is basically just going to be us going through at least the games that we've played, and just not ranking them, but giving our thoughts. Is this a good Warhammer game? Is this a good game? Because as everybody knows, Space Marine 2 is coming out, but there's been a lot of great Warhammer games before then. I mean, Space Marine 2 isn't out yet, but I'm sure it's going to be great.
There's been a lot of good games. There's been a lot of horrible games.
There's been a lot of flops.
And most of them are like at least mid, if not decent. And so I find that it's somewhat reductionist to judge Warhammer games based on the just, stars out of 5 thing. Because I think Warhammer players look for very specific things in their games. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I've devised a super objective and not subjective at all little
You made a PowerPoint
system.
again.
Yeah, I made the PowerPoint. What it is every game I've rated out of 5 for different categories. And when you take the average of all those categories, it gives me an aggregate score of generally if it's worth picking up. So gameplay is the first category. That is the actual video gaminess of it. Does it do its genre well? Is the game fun to play? Does it
have replayability?
Exactly. The stuff that most video game reviewers will look for, The second one is the game well made? Because there are lots of Warhammer games that are pushed out too early and have some bugs, but I'm also talking like, is the UI intuitive? Is it easy to actually get in and play the game? Does it run well on most machines? It's the user accessibility of it, And then money. The third category is value. Not just cost, but how much content do you get per dollar, basically. And there's some caveats to this that we will get to.
I'm one of these games. Yeah. I'm gonna go fucking hard on.
And then finally, the Warhammeriness. Because if you're playing a Warhammer game, if it's just a generic video game with a Warhammer thin coat of paint, it doesn't hit as much as a game that lives and breathes the setting. And that is a category all of its own, because that's honestly what most people are looking for in these games.
Yeah, does it nail the atmosphere? Does it have the right music? Does the voice acting feel authentic? Do you feel like you are now in 40K?
Yep. And so based on the aggregate of all those scores, I've calculated an average. And generally, if your average is like a 2 out of 5, you're probably not worth picking up. If it's a 3 out of 5, If you're a Warhammer fan, you'd enjoy it, but do keep in mind there's going to be some issues.
I think anything
And
B and above is kind of
yeah,
you could just get into it. You don't need to be a Warhammer fan for it.
yeah, and if it's a 4 or higher, like a 4 out of 5 or higher, that is where, even if you're not a Warhammer fan, you might as well pick it up if it's your first game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we ready to get into the first game?
Yeah, and we are doing this by release date generally, so I think you all can probably guess what the first game is going to be.
Okay. We'll hit us with what Dawn of War is.
Okay, Dawn of War. It's a real-time strategy game. It is probably, if you are like between 25 and like 35 years old, this might be the game that got you into the setting. An early 2000s computer game. It was an RTS that competed with the likes of StarCraft. It is all about base building and stuff. I gave it a 4 for gameplay. It's great overall. There are some issues with it in the case of your micro can be really, really intense at sometimes, and the factions aren't completely balanced because it is a somewhat older game, but it's pretty fun. Well made. It's old.
So hang on. So
Yeah.
I haven't played Dawn of War. Is this basically like a Halo Wars type of thing?
Sort of, yeah. So the gameplay loop is you play as one of the factions fighting in some system, Marines, Imperial Guard, Orcs, Eldari, whatever, and everyone starts on the same map, and instead of being turn-based, in real time, you have to have a base that you upgrade and you produce units, and those units take strategic points. So if you played Halo Wars or the original Warcraft RTSs, or if you played StarCraft, it's that sort of gameplay loop of real-time strategy or RTS.
Okay.
It's pretty reasonably priced. It's $13. Each expansion is also $13 though, so I gave that sort of 4. It's older, it's a little crusty, but there's a unification mod you can get. But dude, if you've seen, again, me watching the Russian Badger videos, the voice lines he uses in those videos are from
I've heard some of them, and so not only does it have some good voice acting from what I've heard, it seems to have some pretty nice lore.
Yeah,
the Blood Ravens, just it was their first introduction, and it's an awesome chapter from what I've seen. It's weird because they had a lot of freedom making it, but it's cool.
That's right. If you've ever heard of the Blood Ravens chapter of Space Marines,
this is where they come from.
Yeah, they were invented for this game and then later made canon because they fit the setting so well. So, I mean, it's a 5 out of 5 for Warhammer-ness.
They conflict with the setting, but
bro, the setting conflicts with the setting. Don't use that as an excuse.
So, would you say 4 out of 5?
Overall, this game is a 4 out of 5. I suggest picking it up if you're getting into the setting and you like RTSs. Pick up Dawn of War. This is like one of the quintessential Warhammer video games.
Okay. I mean, right after that's Dawn of War 2.
Yep.
Any better? Any worse?
In some ways, I find that it's better made. You don't necessarily need a good unification mod to have the expansions all work with each other. And it is a slightly newer game, so that helps. It's a little bit more expensive. It's $20 rather than $13. But I don't really knock that against it. The only thing that makes it significantly different is that instead of being a pure RTS like Halo Wars and StarCraft, it has more focus on smaller squads led by like hero characters. And so it's more like a tactical RPG than it is a true big army building RTS.
Okay, so is there a narrative? Is it mainly like a narrative game, or is this multiplayer?
Oh, it's very similar to the first game. Both games you can play with friends. There's also a campaign you can play. The campaign is still pretty solid. I mean, I also gave this a 4 out of 5. Same with the previous game.
So this is like a more focused, smaller version. Like you're working with smaller squads.
Exactly, and you have
some of it.
Yeah, you have way more emphasis on leveling up your characters.
Okay.
Is the idea. And so it's a different gameplay vibe. Just be aware of that if you pick up Dawn of War 2 after the original. If you want just a pure RTS experience, the original is what you're looking for. If you want something a little bit more like RPG tactic stuff, then I'd pick up
kind
Dawn
of
of War
like
2.
leaning towards Baldur's Gate / kind of like
Baldur's Gate's a CRPG, and that we'll get to Rogue Trader. That's what that is.
well, yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know how big the squads are because I haven't played any of the Dawns of War.
You
So
usually fit like 5 squads, and then you have heroes that like
okay,
go
so
with the
it's still pretty
squads.
big.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All right.
You've
Uh,
said a lot about the next game.
yeah,
what are your problems with Dawn of War 3?
ladies and gentlemen, the best thing about Dawn of War 3 was its trailer. That
The cover art
trailer
is pretty slick.
goes
I mean,
that trailer goes unreasonably hard. Unreasonably hard. The music, the visuals, the giant knight shoulder checking a wraith knight. Like,
oh, that's from Dawn of War.
it's from Dawn of War 3. It's from the trailer.
Oh.
The trailer is so sick, and the game just flopped.
So what's wrong with the actual gameplay?
Okay, so in this game, they were like, okay, we want to make something that has the fans of the first 2 games come together. We want to make it hero-based, where every hero has their own abilities that they can proc, kind of like a tactical RPG or kind of like a MOBA, where you have like defense towers and stuff. But then we also want the base building and the big squads of an RTS. So we'll just put them both in the same game and please no one. Now,
Okay.
is the gameplay not fun to play? I mean, it can be fun. It's just not as satisfying because the gameplay loop breaks down when you have to focus on, oh, there are towers that block all my big armies that I've been building up this entire time. So the base building feels useless. But then if I only focus on heroes, then I just get swarmed. So then hero building feels useless. It's sad.
It's a lot of conflicting ideas.
Yeah. It had a bunch of technical issues on release as well, and it's still $40.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How old is it?
I think Dawn of War is somewhat recent. I think Dawn of War 3 is like maybe 2018. Hold on.
Oh, okay. I thought it was older.
Dawn of War 3 2017.
Okay, well then 40 for some from 2017 is it's not bad. But I mean, if it's a bad game, then
Yeah, and the models are like way too bright, and the voice acting is worse, and I don't know. There's something about it that feels a little bit more like we're trying to please everyone and not really hone in on a vision. And I think vision is what really drives Warhammer games. And for that,
yeah,
you get a D. That's not it.
No, you can't do the Warhammer.
I can't do the homework assignment. Okay,
you can't do the Warhammer homework assignment.
I gave it a 2.75. I don't think it's worth picking up unless it's on a really steep sale. Then you can try it out and then refund.
Does it have cool cutscenes to watch through?
It does, but they're like lots of them are like in game, but they do sometimes have like little dialogue bubbles, kind of like what they did in Dawn of War 1.
Well, okay. Next game I've actually played. I feel like I probably liked it more than you did because I think you rated it a bit harshly, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, I don't think I think my rating is fair considering that it came out, 13 years ago.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyways, it is the predecessor to Space Marine 2, Space Marine 1, the original.
Those of you who think it is an A tier game need to replay it, is all I'm saying.
No, I played it recently.
Okay.
Within
Thoughts?
like this year. A tier, no. I certainly had fun. Granted, my game stopped working about at the train scene. And it has not launched since. So maybe a pointing is well made, but also I might just had a corrupted fire or whatever. Gameplay, I thought it was fun. It's very repetitive. There's not much to it. It's very hack and slash, but I mean, I had fun. I mean, as a Space Marine, I want that hack and slash. So I was content. Nick's a lot harsher on stuff than I am.
I give it a 4 out of 5 for gameplay.
I know, but
that's not my issue.
Like this is like a 5 out of 5 for me because if I just have, I love Michael Bay stuff. If I just get blood and explosions, that's all I need.
Oh, you really liked the Dark Side of the Moon's Transformers movie, didn't you?
Don't get me started on Dark Side of the Moon. We will change what this podcast is about.
Transformers pod. Yo, if we get 100 Patreon subscribers, this will become a Transformers podcast.
We will do a Patreon exclusive Transformer tier list. What are you feeling for gameplay and how it's made?
For me, because especially if you do the campaign, which is what most people do, because the multiplayer.
I never played the multiplayer, by the way.
Good, because it's dead. No one plays it.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to.
Yeah, the gameplay gets really repetitive in the second act. I don't want to give any spoilers, but it becomes very samey, and that's basically hack and slash gameplay already. And it's a hack and slash third person shooter. The third person shooter aspects are there, but the game definitely has sections where the melee seems to be your very bread and butter, because that's how you heal and everything. And then it's just time to right click 3 times and then press space and then right click 3 more times.
You do get some variety though. There is, I think the levels feel pretty unique-ish. You do get a decent range of weaponry. It looks like Space Marine 2 is going to have a lot wider range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Space Marine 2, or not Space Marine 2, Space Marine has a pretty decent amount of
but
different weapons.
Dude, but you're saying like Space Marine, I get that I think it was still made by Saber. They made the game in 2011. I mean, compare it to other games that came out in 2011.
No, I'm not trying to compare it. I'm just saying,
I know.
You know, if you haven't played Space Marine and you're worried about Space Marine 2 because we might kind of diss on Space Marine a little bit, don't be. It looks like it's a totally different game, other than a little bit of the melee looks like it feels the same.
They've had 13 years to cook, and even though this game is 13 years old,
and they've been cooking.
Oh, I was a doomer. I'm gonna be honest. I was a doomer and a pessimist.
You were like, oh well, I don't want to pre-order it. I it could be awful. And didn't you pre-order it?
Okay, June.
Didn't you pre-order the highest edition?
No, I didn't. Okay, who do you think I am, bro?
Oh, I did.
No, I don't have that kind of money. No, but one of my buddies is actually getting it for me because
okay, but you are pre-ordering it.
Listen. No, the point is the older game, I think, is a proof of concept of like the gameplay loop of run in, smack orcs, move forward. It's satisfying. Yeah. It's just limited. That's why I gave it a 4.
Yeah, and they were also working with a lot smaller budget than Space Marine 2.
Yeah. That's true. And even with the small budget, even with the limited content, I beat the campaign in like 8 hours. That thing is still $60.
Yeah, that's where Space Marine is kind of tanking in terms of our ranking. Is $60 for 8 hours ish of gameplay from a game made in 2010 ish. It's you got to bring it down to like 20. It's maybe 30.
This is why I say this is a game where if you're a Warhammer fan, pick it up because it's going to be kind of integral to some stuff.
Or if you want to learn about Captain Titus before Space Marine 2, this is also a good way to do it.
Yeah, this is a pick up with prerequisites, not just auto pick up.
It's not just like, oh hell yeah, let's Space Marine. I get to play it sooner. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Now we're getting to a game that is an auto pickup, in my opinion.
Oh, hang on. The average for this, 3.25.
I put 3.25 for Space Marine. I put it as a 3.25. You might rate it as a 3.5 or 3.75 based on the fact that you think maybe it has more Warhammeriness and gameplay to it.
Why did you give the Warhammer feel a 3 out of 5?
One, the Space Marines don't really feel like Space Marines in terms of their movement and their voices, I don't think. Secondly, the orcs are funny, but they're not
scary enough.
Yeah, like the Storm Boys don't really feel like Storm Boys, and like they have the rocket launchers, was kind of funny.
That's fair.
The second secret faction in the game, Hush Hush Wink Wink, is super flavorless. Now the environments are cool. Graia is a really neat planet, and Captain Titus specifically, voiced by Mark Strong, did a good job.
He's pretty hot.
Okay, man.
Anyways, next game.
Okay, next game. All right.
I have no idea what this game is.
Are
I've
you
never heard of it.
ready for some football?
Is this Warhammer Fantasy Sigmar? This isn't 40K, is it?
This is fantasy football. This is Blood Bowl.
Nick, we're a
specifically Blood Bowl
40K
2.
podcast.
Listen, I couldn't resist. I freaking love Blood Bowl 2. I was playing it with my buddy earlier. I played it like years ago. Blood Bowl 2. Cut this out if you want.
You have
go to
Blood
the
Bowl
next game.
3 after this, too.
I was just going based on Warhammer games, all right?
I should have said Warhammer 40K. Anyways.
Okay, listen. Cut this out if you must. But I will stake my claim right now. I will skip over Blood
leave
Bowl
it in.
3.
Leave it in,
I will
Talis.
skip
Oh, speaking
over-
of which, we do have an editor now.
Yeah, editor, remove all non-40K content.
We're making this about fantasy now.
Editor, remove my rant about you can skip every other fantasy game, but please, Blood Bowl 2 needs to be said. It is a fantastic game. It's $20. It is a strategy game about gridiron American football, and it is fun as shit.
Okay, well, real quick before you get in the Blood Bowl, we do have an editor. His name is Talis. He's going to be hopefully adding some more content to our videos because we did get a lot of comments with some good feedback about how we're missing some on-screen stuff and time marks, stuff like that. So he's gonna be helping us with that, and he's graciously doing this for free.
Yeah,
and we feel bad.
I don't know why he signed up for that. I'm gonna be honest, but hey, he wants to add some pretty pictures for the people to see. I'm all for it. Let's get off your
one
back.
day we'll pay him. We'll figure it out.
It's your podcast, bro.
As long as you don't expect me to pay you, Nick.
Oh no, of course I do. I just show up and make PowerPoints.
Okay. Anyways, Blood Bowl.
If we're actually going to talk about Blood Bowl 2, it's a strategy game, but it's set around gridiron football. It's based on a board game originally that came out in like the late 90s. Super fun, a little bit of a learning curve, but the story mode campaign takes you through it. Some of the menu options are a little bit weird. Like if you alt tab, it still has your keystrokes. So like it makes you skip through dialogue. It's kind of weird. In terms of like capturing the Blood Bowl vibe, it's a 5 out of 5. If you want like Warhammer Fantasy or like Warhammer 40K, it's probably a 0 for the flavor.
I can't believe the fantasy football game with orcs playing football has a 4.25 and is higher than Space Marine.
It's so good, bro. I love Blood Bowl. And they still make minis for the board game.
I've seen some of them.
It's so full of flavor. It's goofy, it's a parody, and I love parody stuff.
All right, well, let's get Blood Bowl 3 out of the way.
Oh, we're doing this. All right.
Yeah, I'll give you your Blood Bowl segment. Maybe somebody in the comments likes fantasy enough to justify this.
Oh, okay. Okay, in general, Blood Bowl 3, I'm going to make this quick. It's $30, but I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of bugs and there's a lot of microtransactions in it, so I think that's kind of cringe. The monetization is gross. However, it still has a lot of that flavor in it. I gave it like a 3.5. It should honestly be a 3. I should probably make its value worse. This is more like, if you already like Blood Bowl, maybe you should play this, but just buy Blood Bowl 2. Don't worry about 3.
Okay, getting back to what the podcast is about.
Okay, 40K. Did you
Battlefleet Gothic?
Did you play the original Battlefleet Gothic game?
I've played neither.
Okay. I have
watched a lot of videos on it because I was making it. We'll get into it.
Okay. I played it for 2 hours. I did not play it as much as Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. The strategic, it's a real-time tactics game. So you control a bunch of ships and your enemy controls a bunch of ships, and it's not turn-based. You're just going in, you know? It was a lot at once, and because it's a slightly older game, the UI that they gave didn't really explain a lot of like the concepts and rules, so I got kind of lost.
So very overwhelming.
Yeah, and that's why I rated this a little bit lower, but honestly, maybe we could save the original Battlefleet Gothic Armada for a later rating. I give it a 3.25 at the moment, but my experience is limited. You know?
Okay. Now its successor though, I know it did pretty good, and
Ooh.
I've seen some of the clips from it. Um, what is the Dark Angels? What is it? The Fourth Company Master?
I could not tell you.
I don't know. There's a cool Dark Angels thing in there. I was originally gonna do make him as a kit bash. The gameplay looks fun. I'm
It's
surprised I haven't picked it up yet because I feel like I'd love.
it's quite fun. The tutorial takes you. It's like right in the middle of the fall of Cadia, and so you're like ramming the Blackstone Fortress. It's
spoiler.
nuts. Yeah, it's not a spoiler. It's the first freaking thing.
People don't know. You know, these are new 40k players. They might not know about Cadia yet.
Cadia's dead. Cadia's dead. There's no more guardsmen.
Cadia stands.
They made a second planet called Cadia.
Cadia 2.
Cadia 2, the sequel to Cadia, the Cadianing.
Cadianing.
God, I hate the Cadianing. They should have just kept it dead. That would have made the Cadians actually interesting.
I read that excerpt, like I read that whole book where they made Cadia 2, and it's so rushed. It's just okay, yeah, Cadia 2, here we go.
Because they still need the models. Ugh. Anyway, things that aren't cringe though is Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. Good game. For only $20, you get a lot. You get a lot.
It's a big
content.
game, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of chunky. It doesn't run as well on most systems. That's why I knocked it down a few pegs for well-madeness. But who?
Oh, it nails the Warhammer atmosphere.
Oh, dude. You watch any of those cutscenes? Oh man. And
the music is phenomenal.
Incredible. And the little dialogue between like the Chaos Lords. Have you seen that meme of working with World Eaters? Where it goes through dialogue of two Chaos Lords talking to each other, and then like some Cornet Berserker is like, "Welcome to Skoros, my brothers! There will be much slaughter!"
So the dialogue is great. The voice actors are really getting into, you know, being as if they were a part of this universe. From what I've seen, like the ship guns feel like 40k ship guns, where you're just shooting a building at somebody.
That's good. That or like the lances. Oh,
the lances. Yummy.
Yeah. I give this...
Overall, 4.25. Is that the highest we've had?
I think so.
No, you rated Blood Bowl 2 the same.
Okay, listen. Listen. I hate football as a concept, but Blood Bowl reeled me back in.
Okay, well, anyways, I haven't heard of this next game, and I'm sad you rated it so low because I feel like you would love this. I feel like I'd love this,
dude,
just from the cover.
Yep, it is called Armageddon. Now, I specifically played Armageddon : The Orcs, where you play as
Armageddon Black Templars.
I actually don't know. I think you play as the guard in the main game.
Oh, okay, well that's fine.
You play as the Steel Legion, but in The Orcs, you play as the Orcs. And so you get the other side of like, oh, this is what a Mega Knob Rush feels like.
Whoops.
Yeah. It's a war game, so you have an army composition and you position models and you take shots. It's
so kind of like how true 40k plays, or
it's getting closer, not quite there, but it's the same gameplay flow. You take a turn with all your units, make all your attacks, then the opponent does. It plays like a typical war game does.
Okay.
It's $20. If you like orcs, then I would suggest picking it up because
it has a picture of Gazgul. Is Gazgul in here?
Yeah, he is.
I think that's an auto pickup if you're an orc.
Yeah, if you played the orcs, your first ever thing is Gazgul because it's on. You start on Urk, which is Gazgul's homeworld, and you help him like take over Urk, like in the Gazgul Thraka book.
It's fun.
And then he takes you with him to the stars, and then you go into Armageddon and crump people. It's awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I would give it a even like a 3.25. Honestly, maybe a 3 if you're not super into orcs. If you are into orcs, it goes up to like a 3.5 7.5.
I think if you're in the orcs, $20 isn't that much.
Yeah, $20 for a decent war game. You get a decent amount of content of it. I got absolutely skill issued during the 3rd mission of the campaign. So
Okay.
there is a challenge to it. There absolutely is.
Now, the next game,
You've played this one.
insert Russian badger clips.
Yeah, this is like the Russian badger meme.
Yeah.
Brother, get the flamer.
And
the heavy flamer.
I honestly, I haven't played much of it because you've yet to play it with me.
I'm sorry.
I played the tutorial. That's it. I haven't actually seen any of the Gene Stealers.
You haven't played any Space Hulk Deathwing?
I played the tutorial. That's it.
That's a crime.
I think
okay.
I can still refund it on Steam.
Okay. Well, no, it's too late. I think it has to be within like 2 days that you buy
No, it's like 30 days.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways,
don't refund it, though, I swear. Before we get into our Space Marine 2 hole.
No, we're not gonna play before Space Marine 2. Don't tip me with this.
Yeah. It's a first-person shooter. You play as a big, chunky Deathwing in Terminator armor.
You're like special elite, special boy with special armor.
Exactly. You do not get the cool like run and gun and stab. No.
You're a tank.
You walk at the enemy and you shoot them. But you better not miss, because these enemies will rip through your armor more than what lore should allow.
And no, because if you read Devastation of Ball, the Gene Stealers at the beginning are terrifying.
All right.
Gene Stealers can rip through Space Marine armor like paper.
Okay, maybe that's why they have AP2 in the tabletop. I'll trust you on this. I will let you cook.
They rip through my guard. I'll tell you that.
That's fair. The gameplay, it's neat. If you want a first-person shooter as a Space Marine, that is what it is.
A lot of cool guns.
It gets pretty repetitive. It gets pretty limited. If you play the campaign, it feels really bad to have any interesting loadout. Play multiplayer with friends so you can actually play the build you want.
Yeah, I feel like multiplayer is the only way you should play this.
Yep, but unfortunately, setting up the multiplayer is a hassle. The UI is not that great overall, and you don't know what your abilities do.
Yeah,
like it
does get a lot of points of redeeming it is, the actual Warhammer feel. Plenty of servo skulls. The Deathwing looks like Deathwing.
The environments.
The Tyranids look great. It's dark and gloomy. You got good music.
You want a game?
It feels like Warhammer.
You want a game that makes you like really afraid of Gene Stealers and Tyranids? You play this game. They're spooky. Yeah, because Space Marine 2, the trailers are like, yeah, you're just mowing them down and you're a big badass dude. This is like, you need that big chunky armor because
you need this Terminator plate or else you're screwed.
You mess you up. Yeah.
Next one, I've actually played more than Deathwing.
This one, okay, this is another fantasy game. Am I allowed to talk about this?
You will. I'll let you, only because I actually have played this and I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna maybe hurt your feelings on this one.
That's okay. This is Vermintide 2. Critically acclaimed rat bonking simulator.
The rats are the best part.
Yeah. I gave it personally a 5 out of 5 in gameplay because it's trying to be a horde shooter, but like a melee horde shooter, Yeah,
you really don't get much ranged weaponry.
You don't. And
you get maybe a bow and maybe some spells, but
you can get guns, but they're limited. They're like one shot, then you reload, It's not like Darktide. It's very much the melee is the main focus of the game. The enemy variety is a little limited, and there's a lot. Okay, it's a chunky game. It's like 120 gigs or whatever, and it can start lagging a bit if you don't have a great setup. But if you're looking for a game where you just crash through hordes to get to an objective with friends, this is the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun, but for me, coming into it from Darktide, and we'll get into Darktide in a little bit, but I had some issues with it. For me, it felt a little weird that it was like a character shooter, but not really. I didn't appreciate having the characters. Um, Fighting the Skaven, at least for me at the very beginning, was kind of boring. I think, later games it gets harder and therefore more fun.
Okay.
Personally, I wasn't a super big fan of it. I did love the Skaven though. The Skaven
Okay.
talking was the best part.
Yeah. I find that you do have to put some hours in it in order to like really build into your build. So maybe I did rate it a little bit too high. I gave this a 4.25, but you do make some good points about the early game experience.
It's still
I
a great,
haven't.
well built game though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a little chunky, but oh man,
Why
it's
did you
pretty
go
too.
Midwestern?
Oh yeah, for sure, bud.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, my family's Canadian. Maybe that's where it comes from.
Yeah. I spent too much time in
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
So Vermintide, I gave it like a you should pick it up. It's a great game where like even if you're not into 40k, you'll probably have a good time. But if you play it by yourself, maybe there's a little caveat, you know. Okay, back to 40k games.
Please.
Okay.
Oh god. 2 out of 5. What is wrong with Inquisitor Martyr?
They tried to make Diablo.
Okay.
They tried to make an ARPG out of 40k. It did not work. The voice acting is bad. The environment.
Define what an ARPG is for me.
Okay, what it is a type down or maybe an isometric view of your character, and you have abilities and skills that you proc. Like if you ever played
Okay.
an MMO.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Okay, imagine playing MMO, but it's just like you and like maybe like 2 other people in like a small party. And in real time, well, I believe the combat is turn-based. So you go in and in turn-based combat, you fight like Nurgle demons and you fight chaos and all this good stuff. And the concept is neat. It's not fun. I played other ARPGs like Diablo 2 and Grim
Isn't
Dawn.
XCOM like one?
No, it is not like
No.
XCOM. That's a different thing.
I haven't played XCOM, so
yeah. There's a big like essentially like loot things. I'm trying to think of like what makes an ARPG different than like a CRPG, because CRPGs is like Baldur's Gate, Rogue Trader, things like and Devil's Dogma, whatever that is.
we're not here to discuss what games are.
Yeah, we're here for, is this a good pickup if you're a Warhammer fan? My answer is no.
No.
It's also
bad.
$50.
That's ridiculous.
$50 for this game is criminal.
Ooh, gross.
Okay. Hey, do you like Civilization?
Haven't played.
You haven't played like Civ 5 or Civ 6?
I tried playing when I was like 10, and that was way too much for me, so I gave it.
Do you want to try playing Civilization but in Warhammer?
I would. That sounds amazing.
It's a game called Gladius, and amazing is not what I would use for it, but it is a cool.
Okay. Are those Necrons?
There are Necrons. The base game comes with Space Marines, Space Marines, Orcs, Necrons, and Astra Militarum.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I mean, we got quite a good roster with
I played the Space Marine campaign for a good bit, learning the 4X components and stuff. It feels different than Civ because it's on a level by level basis. You don't have the big city building and stuff like that, but it is a 4X game. So you do eventually get that territory thing where you choose a territory, then you go into the map and like find the enemy's outposts, and then you like upgrade them.
and you send your units to
build units.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of that. So it is a 4X game, kind of like Civ in terms of like the gameplay flow. It's a little different, but that's the general vibe. It's pretty well made. The UI is a little weird in my opinion, but it runs smoothly. The combat and everything is great. Well, it's 4X game. It's not like the combat's like huge or whatever, but when you're actually in the game, once you're past the main menu and when you're past the like campaign map section, the actual in-game like production and stuff, really easy to understand. I like that. Problem. the base game is $40.
Yeah.
And if you want a new faction, like let's say like Tau or Sisters, $15 per faction.
Yeah, the 40's kind of okay, but $15 a faction's a little much.
Yeah. And because the
At least for an older
production,
game.
the gameplay of each faction, because I also played a little bit of the Orcs, it's just very similar. There's not a lot of like mechanical difference between Space Marines and Orcs. Maybe there is with Necrons. I don't know. But it didn't feel like the factions were really unique in that regard. And so I'm like, I'm giving it like a 2.75.
Okay.
I'm not an enjoyer.
Alrighty. Well, maybe one day. Anyways, Space Hulk.
Okay, this is Space Hulk Tactics, not Deathwing. Have you ever played the Space Hulk board game?
No, I have not.
This is it. It's just the Space Hulk board game, but you made it a video game. That's all it is. So I gave it a B. I gave it a 3.5. If you like the Space Hulk board game, it's pretty good. It's $15. It's pretty reasonably priced. It's decently well made. Like, if you're not a fan of tactically... Okay, here's a good one. Do you like boarding actions in 40K? Do you like the boarding actions game mode?
Sure.
Confined spaces, narrow hallways, opening doors, action points.
Yeah.
Okay, if you like that, you like Space Hulk Tactics. If you want big fields of armies and whatever, this ain't for you.
Alrighty. So a reasonable pickup if you've played the 40K actual tabletop games.
Yeah, if you like war games, like skirmish games, like if you like Kill Team or boarding actions, then this is a game for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one, the birth of the greatest soundtrack there has ever been.
My goat.
If you've seen our older videos, it is our intro.
Yeah, bro. I thought we used
Darktide. No. We used Darktide. It was gonna actually. Here's a bonus fact. I was gonna use Mechanicus soundtrack for it.
Yeah, we're talking about Mechanicus, baby.
Mechanicus.
That trailer went so hard.
Unbelievably hard.
Yeah, from the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh,
made me hard. Me. Oh, amazing.
Easy 5 out of 5 for the Warhammerness.
Oh yeah,
easy, dude.
Especially just the fact that AdMech by themselves nail the Warhammer aesthetic.
Yeah, for sure. Also, the Necron content in the game is pretty good.
Okay.
You don't have too much of like the emotional sort of like, dynastic, whatever. But sometimes the bosses talk to you and damn, you are insects to them. And that hits me. It's good. 5 out of 5, well made. The UI is clean.
Only $30.
Yeah, it's only $30. The only complaint is that the game, I find, gets a little bit too easy once you get past like 30% awakening-ish. So like late game, your builds are so extensive that it kind of becomes a cakewalk. But I played on the Iron Man difficulty. I played on the permadeath difficulty.
Oh, okay.
I freaking love this game. It's not the XCOM and Warhammer game, but it's if you don't like the RNG that XCOM has, but you want a tactical strategy game, this is a good tactics game.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
this is the highest one we've gone so far.
This is a
4.5.
4.5. Mechanicus is just a solid game.
All right. So the next one we were talking about before,
just a little bit,
the episode started. You said this was the most like the tabletop.
Yeah, I was skeptical about Battlesector at first because it basically looked like another like strategy slop, because there's a lot of Warhammer strategy games because tabletop's a strategy game.
I'm gonna look up some gameplay while you spit facts.
It is set during the aftermath of the devastation of Baal. It's a war game where you build an army and every unit you take costs a certain amount of points. And if you upgrade the gear they
feels
take,
like 40K.
If you upgrade the gear they take, their points go up a little bit. And you can only have so many of a certain role in your army composition, where you can't just spam aggressors and dreadnoughts. You can only have so many of them. You also need some battle line and HQ. It's just like 9th edition.
How have I not played this? This looks amazing.
It's fun. You play in a grid. You have all your dudes. They move and they take an action. You do have action points, which is not quite like what the tabletop is, but it's a nice video game approximation.
Nick,
And
I need you to buy it for me. I have $15 in my bank account.
okay, here's the problem. This is the only marks I gave off on it. The game is $40.
Yeah, and I can't. I literally can't even afford it right now.
And the base game only comes with Blood Angels and Tyranids.
And then $15 for a faction after that.
Yeah, I got the orcs for $15,
I
but
think the 15 for a faction
the price is
a little
steep.
much.
But dude, if this is on sale,
I don't know. The units looked really well made, so
the game is just well designed. I'm pleasantly surprised. I did not expect it.
Why did you only get it 3.5?
That's for the Warhammeriness.
Okay.
Because the factions are a little samey. The flavor differences of the factions comes in, oh, so this is a battle, gain momentum when they take damage, but it's like a 0.75% increase or whatever. And the Blood Angels gain momentum when they kill something in melee. Other than that, it's just different stat lines and weapons.
Okay, so like 40k tabletop.
Yeah.
So 3.5. You know what? Okay, I understand.
You know what? For the Warhammer like lore vibe of it, a 3. But if you're thinking of like the Warhammer tabletop vibe, I give it a 5.
All right. So what are we bringing this up to? Maybe like a 4. I think a 4.
I think a 4 is the value's low. I would say if it's on sale for like $20, pick it up. That is a more than fair price. If it's $30, pick it up, but like don't expect to get any factions out of it.
All right. Moving on, Necromunda Hired Gun.
I was looking forward to this game. It's an FPS with a lot of movement.
Isn't there a new one coming out?
I actually don't know.
I think there is.
This was made by the same people who made Space Hulk Deathwing. That's why I picked this up, because I liked Space Hulk Deathwing when I played it. But I'm like, dang, I want an FPS but I'm not feeling as chunky. I want to move, and bro, Hired Gun, you are a bounty hunter and you go fast. There's so much movement and sliding and everything in the game, and it feels
there is not a
good.
Second one coming out.
No, there's not. It feels great when you're in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels great. If you played like Doom Eternal or Doom, it has a similar gameplay loop to it. We have like arenas full of enemies. You have like auto stubbers and stuff. I will say, the restraint they showed in the design, where you're mainly fighting like other dudes. You're not fighting like Space Marines or Tyranids or whatever. You're fighting like other gamers.
Yeah, that's a big criteria when it comes to 40k games. You can't pitch 4 regular dudes against a Space Marine. The Space Marine will always win unless you are Gaunt's Ghost.
The restraint, okay, those books are old.
I know.
The amount of restraint that this game had in its scale is commendable, and also the Necromunda feels like Necromunda. As someone who's played a bit of Necromunda tabletop, and
it has a Cyber Mastiff.
Yeah, dude. Like, if you like League of Legends, you like Arcane, and you like Zon, bro, this game is a good one. Problems. 1, it's buggy as shit. It does not run well. It's got a lot of technical problems, and it's $40. I think maybe 25 or 30 is a more fair price.
It looks like it kind of looks like a AAA game from what I can see. I think 40 is not too bad. At least on like graphics and whatnot, I'm talking about.
That's fair. Production value, it's similar to Deathwing in that regard. I would say if they fix a lot of technical issues it had and add a little bit more variety in the gameplay, then I give it a better grade. But
okay,
I give it a 3.25.
I hate to skip over Total War, but I think we should skip over. We're at like 48 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's not a 40k game. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. If you have money, buy it. If you don't have money, have fun, because that shit's $60. but it's really goddamn fun. It's just an arm and a leg.
I've heard this is like the 40k game. Not the 40k, but like the Warhammer game I've heard the most about.
Yeah.
But I haven't played it because it's not 40k, and I'm
Yeah.
just not big into fantasy.
Take out a mortgage payment, play it.
Okay. Chaos Gate. This is one I'm interested in.
It's fun. Dude, the amount of times RNG has fucked me on this game makes me ill. But
Okay.
for a tactical strategy game, do you like XCOM?
I've never played it.
Okay, if you like,
This is just XCOM with Grey Knights.
it's just XCOM with Grey Knights.
Okay.
It is just XCOM with Grey Knights. It's got the cover system. It's got the leveling of gear. It's just XCOM with Grey Knights. And if you like that, cool. It's $45. If you play XCOM, $45 might be worth. But
you know where I'm gonna hit this game with some negative points for. Yeah. But maybe some extra points because it's funny. The Grey Knights are old Marine scale.
They are. They
look so small in every cutscene.
Yeah, and also
picture I see.
So all they are just silver and gold. So
so tiny. All right. I'm gonna roast this next game so hard.
I've never played this game. Go off, King.
Okay, so
you've
Tacticus. You've seen it on Instagram. After every fucking Warhammer reel you get, it is the Warhammer 40k mobile game. So in terms of gameplay, is it fun? Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty hard too, so I like that it actually gives some challenge to it.
Okay.
However, so it kind of feels a little bit like Tip Up. You get to move your units around. They have some signature abilities and whatnot.
Do you control squads or do you control individual characters?
You get like 5 characters, and they would go up against like a different faction. And when you're going up against that faction, you'll go against like their weak people for the most part.
So it's like
and then like
first
some
Warhammer.
Yeah, and you'll get some higher elite units to go against too.
Okay. It's baby's first Warhammer.
Yeah, it's very much like you haven't played much like strategy type games, and we're just gonna nudge you into it.
Okay, sure.
In terms of how well made it is, it's not bad. It's pretty well polished. It doesn't have any like gameplay issues. It's a very well made out app for it just being a mobile game.
Oh, it's a mobile game.
Oh yeah, this is a mobile game.
I have fear.
Yeah, and this is where it tanks is in value. God, where do I start on the value? I actually kind of like this game. The units, the characters, they're pretty unique. You get some pretty cool characters. You get like for the Black Templars, you get like the Emperor's Champion and Helbrecht, and for the Guard, you get like artillery batteries and whatnot. You can't play with them. You can't even buy like the characters. You have to grind out so much, and you have to like get characters you don't want to play, like a campaign you don't want to play to unlock those characters. It takes so long to get characters. I don't even have all of the Ultramarines yet. It's ridiculous. And like even when you're gonna buy like the characters to play a campaign, you only get like 3 of them when you need 5, and it's like $40 to $50.
Jesus, dude. Is there a gacha system or is it just grinding?
What do you mean by gacha system?
As in like there's like a pack of possible characters you can get.
So yeah, there's loot boxes.
Oh
yeah, but and it's not like, oh yeah, wow, you pulled this character, you pulled this shard, and you need 200 shards for a fucking guardsman.
Oh god, it's just like Fire Emblem Heroes. If any of you know,
it's awful.
Fire Emblem Heroes.
I don't know. And I'm gonna double back to the gameplay. The gameplay is kind of cool, but it stagnates because you're using the same characters, and you want to get characters, but you can't get characters.
Mobile game moment. So if it
Mobile game moment.
So it has potential, but it's just held back by its core like unlock loop. Ugh.
If you could just get characters so much easier, I'd probably play this between work breaks. But for now, it just sits in my games folder collecting dust.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Also, all the character models look. All the character
just
models
flat
look like
two.
all the character models look like they're in Fortnite.
Yeah, it's very cartoony, which I mean, I kind of like, because if it was if they try to make it hyper realistic as a mobile game, you can't pull it off.
Fair.
And they got like funny animations and whatnot, but at the same time, like, gross.
Yeah, so don't pick this up. Cool game, but...
don't even. Maybe pick it up, play like one game, be like, oh, cool, and then delete it.
Okay, good to know. You heard it here first. We're not sponsored. Tacticus devs.
No, fuck off. You can't sponsor us.
There you go. Let's go. We've made our stand. Tyler may shill in the middle of episodes, but he will not shill.
Anti-shill. All right, give me a good orc game. I think it looks like it's good. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Shootas, blood and teeth. So, if you aren't an orc fan, this is more like a 3.25. I'm gonna be honest. It is a run and gun game. You are an orc, and your boss stole your hair squig, and you're getting it back. So you.
I love hair squig.
So you are grabbing your flamer, your shooter, your well, it's not called flamer, it's called a burner. Whatever, your tank hammer, and you're gonna just run your way through a bunch of levels, shooting whatever you see. And
it has a cute, cartoony art style too, which I'm here for orcs.
It's actually kind of like puppety, where in some cutscenes the Imperial Guardsmen, like their mouths like jabber up and down repeatedly. It's kind of funny,
like the South Park not Canadians,
Canadians, yeah. And in the beginning cutscene is like a bunch of paper cutouts to show the planets. It's really cute.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
and I think that kind of meshes well with orcs.
It does. Now, the multiplayer is kind of rough because it bugs out sometimes. I beat this game, I think 4 times, 1 by myself and then 3 with a bunch of friends, running through the game with them. The game is really short.
Okay.
It's like 4 hours or something. And for $20, that's kind of whack. But it's so fun. It just oozes flavor too. Now, if you're looking for something that takes the setting seriously and has a good sense of scale, you're looking in the wrong place. My brother in Christ, you fight a knight valiant and win. That is not it.
This is leaning into the fun creative design of, how silly can we do? What's some fun, cool stuff we can do?
This is a story that an orc told to his boss to explain why he was gone.
He was late.
Exactly.
When he called out on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. It is a fun romp that does not take itself seriously at all. So if you're not into that, I give it like a 1 or 2 out of 5 for Warhammeriness, maybe just a 1. If you like the orc bullshit, if you like orcs, this is a 5 out of 5, bro. Not in terms of like flavor. Pick it up if you like orcs. If you don't like orcs, if you have friends maybe to have a good time with. But $20 is kind of steep.
40k players don't have friends.
Hey, speaking of games that also you need friends for.
Darktide. The special child.
I am a battered wife. I've been love bombed by this game and then thrown against the wall and then bought flowers to make up for it. This game has not treated me right, but I keep coming back to it.
Darktide. So if you're not familiar, it's a horde shooter. It's a first-person game.
Do you like Left 4 Dead? Congratulations.
Yeah, it's very much Left 4 Dead.
You like Left 4 Dead and Warhammer. Yippee.
In terms of gameplay, you gave this a 5 out of 5. Go ahead and explain what you gave it.
It is fun as shit. I am not including the monetization practices, and I'm not including the optimization of the game in the gameplay section. The gameplay section is the core gameplay loop and the abilities the characters gets, etc.
The gameplay is nice. The guns feel great. The guns are all unique, and
they're nice.
I guess the spiker and the melee.
The classes,
spiker and the melee stuff.
Yeah, the classes in as of now, as a time of recording, are pretty fleshed out. There's a skill tree with 3 sort of vibes per class.
Yeah,
and
each class feels unique.
And you can mix and match them. And each class has a specific role. I have a Blood for the Blood God, Skulls for the Skull Throne Zealot with a chain axe and bolter that just runs and just mulches everything.
I have a Cragsman Guardsman.
Yeah, I also have a support tank zealot. Like, same class, but different abilities, different builds with different weapons.
I have like a radius boosting leadership commissar.
Yeah.
I have a defensive Cadian Psyker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna knock it a point though. I feel like the replayability is a little bit low.
I disagree. I think that the enemy variety is still pretty high for a horde shooter. I mean,
enemy variety is good.
Yeah. You don't run out of missions until you're like 30 hours in, and even then, they're adding more missions now, not very quickly, and
and it's a little bit slow.
But the game itself is mad fun, and the only problem I have with the gameplay is the gear system and itemization. That's different than the monetization practice this year. If you want to knock a point for gameplay, I do it for the fact that you can't customize your gear that well. And it's a little bit RNG dependent.
Okay. Value, $40. Honestly, you give it a 2 out of 5. I think 40 really isn't that bad for what you're getting.
Brother, this game is still not finished.
I guess, but I mean, how much? We both have like about 100 hours.
That's because I'm an abused wife. This game.
It's because they're taking what you can get till Space Marine 2 comes out.
No, I haven't played this thing since the beta. I was in the beta for Darktide, dude. I've been playing this shit since day 1. You don't understand. I have the stupid beta helmet they gave to us on release. All right? This game also runs like trash if you're not on a top level system, and the monetization practices are absolutely evil.
Womp womp. It runs great for me in 5120 by 1440.
Oh, fuck off. I
Max settings.
Bro, one of the reasons I spent $800 upgrading my CPU
just so you can play Space Marine 2.
It's so I can play freaking Darktide, bro. My Darktide with my old setup, the audio cut out consistently, and my frames kept dropping to like 10 or 20. It was awful.
I had some problems originally. It's like earlier in the game history.
Yeah, this game is it's so polarized because the Warhammeriness, the feel,
nails
the
it.
atmosphere,
music, amazing.
Nails it. Incredible.
What is it? Trash compactor?
What? Disposal unit. Disposal unit's the boss theme.
Disposal unit. I don't know why I said trash compactor.
That has the choir going in the back. I'm a fan.
And when you're fighting that boss, and like that's the other thing too, is like the enemies you go up against are kind of reasonable. I think 4 guys against a chaos spawn's a little sketchy.
Yeah, but like the Karnak twins and the Poxwalkers and you fight other dudes mostly. That's pretty fun.
The Inquisitorial ship, amazing, beautiful.
Bro.
Feels like a cathedral in space.
And also, Beasts of Nurgle, I did not fear as much until now. Because they have
it was pretty scary.
If you're into like 40k meme content, Beasts of Nurgle are huggy little guys that just want to be your friend. But you play them in that game, brother. Oh, brother.
Overall, 3.5. Not bad. Definitely worth picking up if you're a Warhammer fan. If you're not a Warhammer fan, you may get bored after a little bit.
Yeah, dude. This game, I mean, I'd say wait for updates. The main updates for the class is out.
By the time this game is fully fleshed out, we'll have Space Marine 2. And that's what we're all waiting for.
Man, Darktide will always have a special place in my heart.
You need to move on, Nick.
I know. I miss my wife Tails. I miss her.
All right, hit me with Warhammer Doomslayer.
Okay, do you like the OG Doom or Doom 2?
I love original Doom.
Okay, you want an FPS boomer shooter? It's an FPS boomer shooter. It checks all the boxes. I gave it a 5 out of 5 for well made. It does exactly what it needs to do. It runs fantastically. The UI is perfect. crisp.
It's not very graphically demanding. It's a Pixel game.
And the voice acting is great. The flavor is great. Problem. It slows down the last 3 hours or so. And because the enemy variety runs out and they just throw more at you. And so it feels not as great. So it is kind of like the last Doom games in that way, but the last Doom games had like the
Doom
icon of sin.
From that.
Yeah, and that had like the icon of sin in the original Doom and everything, but this kind of just you know. So I give it a 4 out of 5 for gameplay just because of that. Other than that, excellent.
There's one thing that knocks this game, but it's also kind of the best part about this game. It's the fact that this one Ultramarine is killing hundreds of like Chaos Space Marines and demons.
You take down 2 greater demons in a level. That's why I knocked it down for the Warhammer.
You're basically just a Primarch at this point.
The scale is not there, but I think that's
Doom. You know,
it's excusable.
You're
for the
there
genre,
to kill God,
but it's not perfect. You know, if you're there to just rip and tear through whatever comes your way, then you can do that. Just be aware. This is not representative.
Don't take this lore accurate.
Like, I know this is a named Ultramarine, but come on.
Even for a named Ultramarine, it's a little excessive.
Yeah.
Rogue Trader. This is a recent one.
I played this entire game. I'm
only on like the second planet.
You like Baldur's Gate?
I do.
Cool. Do you like the gameplay of leveling up your people and having relationships with them and you know, having good combat with them?
I do.
It has that. The interpersonal relationship part is not nearly as fleshed out as Baldur's Gate for obvious reasons.
No, it's not. It really isn't.
But the core gameplay loop is pretty damn solid. If you want a solid CRPG, this will give it to you.
Yep. You play as a rogue trader, doing your business, going wherever you want. You gotta like prepare your ship and whatnot.
The character building is deep. There's a lot of replayability here.
Yeah. You do get some replayability. You get a nice party diversity.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You're not always stuck with the same party members. I think you get like 8 or 9 party members throughout the entire thing, and you can only take 4 on a mission.
You can get some cool loot. There is some cool loot.
Yeah. You could also make your own mercenary. So if you want to play with a friend, you can give them permission to take over some of your characters. Me and my buddy Ramir played this game together where he controlled half of my party members and built them for himself. So
I think
it was fun.
I have some problems with this. It feels a little bit poor. It has a lesser production quality. It's no Baldur's Gate, but nobody's going to go toe-to-toe with Baldur's Gate. I'm not trying to compare it to that. But some of the level designs feel a little hard to navigate, and some of like the mechanics and like your actual like menus, the UI, it's a little down there. It's not great. It's not bad. It's certainly tolerable, and I think for what it is as a game, if you're a Warhammer fan, it's certainly fun.
I think it's more comparable to Divinity Original Sin than it is for Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
For $50, it's steep. I would just recommend getting like a Steam key or something.
Yep. Okay, I don't know how long this is going to last by the time this comes out. As I'm recording, there is a Humble Bundle right now. There is a deal where you can get this, you can get the Pathfinder CRPGs, and the first 2 Baldur's Gate games for like $20 or whatever.
Oh, goddamn.
You need to get that Humble Bundle like ASAP. Because Rogue Trader is absolutely worth playing. Spoilers, you're not going to get the Space Wolf until way late in the campaign, so if you're here for the Space Wolf, fucking wait.
Be a patient Space Wolf.
Get your way there. Oh, I have patience, Space Wolf. That's an oxymoron.
It really is. 5 out of 5 for Warhammer feel. Music, great. Characters, voice acting, pretty good. Dialogue, awesome. Guns, cool. Scaling, pretty respectable.
The scaling's good. I like it. I give it a 3 points.
You're not going against an army of Space Marines. You do go against like some weird stuff like a Chaos Spawn, but even then, it's kind of believable that you take them down.
Your first Space Marine encounter scared the shit out of me.
Okay.
Scared the shit out of me. But it's okay. I give it a 3.75. Solid game. Put it in like a B+ or B tier sort of thing, you know?
Right.
Just is a little steep, and it had a lot of bugs on release. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 for well made.
Last game.
Okay.
Technically not even out yet.
Technically not even out yet, but the most recently released Warhammer video game in terms of like accessibility.
Coming out of nowhere.
Coming out of nowhere, ripping out of the wasteland is Speed Freaks. Now, time for me to be a biased orc player.
Yeah, I think your bias is showing.
Yep. I'm going to be honest, the game's pretty limited.
It really is.
It's fun for 2 hours, then you put it down.
Yeah.
And then maybe pick it up a couple days later.
It's kind of like Crossout, if you've ever played Crossout, except you don't even get the cool like building of like your vehicles. You just get different vehicles, and even that's kind of limited.
Yeah, you don't get to customize your vehicles at all. It's a set loadout, and you just customize their appearance. That's pretty much it.
No, that's what I said. Like Crossout, you get to like fully change your vehicle, whereas this, you just, I want this vehicle instead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a combat racer, and to be fair, the vehicle flavor is pretty great, but the gameplay is kind of limited. There's only 2 game modes right now, and I mean,
now if they added maybe like some like actual proper racing game mode, that might be more interesting.
Definitely has that, where like you fight over a point, and then you race to the next one, and then you fight over that, and then you race.
Yeah, but I don't feel like the racing to the next point is engaging enough.
That's fair. Could be a little longer, but there's some vehicles that are faster than others. Like if you're playing the Grot tank, you're not going to win.
Oh yeah, you're not winning.
So there's a gameplay balance thing there that I think is a problem.
Value, it's free right now.
Yep, it is free to play. There's no microtransaction. Okay, there is a battle pass that will cost money, but it's only for cosmetic shit. The only reason you would get it is because you can unlock one vehicle a little bit earlier, but you can just grind for that vehicle and you should be fine.
You can get vehicles pretty quick, so that's nice.
Yep. It's free. If you like the edgy Grimdark Warhammer setting, this shit will not bang.
I'm gonna give it a better overall Warhammer score.
Yeah, bud?
The orcs are great, they're done great, and I like that they're not just silly. It has silliness, but they're still kind of scary. Like, I mean, I guess not scary, but they're not just joking and goofing off, right? And the actual scenery is not bad. I think overall it's pretty okay for a Warhammer aesthetic.
I give it a 5 out of 5 for orcs. Like one out of
orcs for especially, yeah.
Yeah, I gave it 1 out of 5 for like this is a Warhammer game, like But if you're into orcs and you know the orc stuff, bro, it's a 5 out of 5. This shit rules. It's so awesome.
So yeah, definitely go get it. You can get it free on Steam right now.
Yep.
We're not sponsored in any way, by the way, for anything.
It's not that big either. It's like less than 20 gigs if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's small.
Yeah, it's a small game. It's free. Play it with friends. Play it alone. I played public lobbies alone. It was fine. I just got skill issued because I'm bad.
Anyways, that's all the games we've played so far. We will have a follow-up when Space Marine 2 comes out. That's what everybody's looking for.
Oh my god, we've been recording for a while.
I know. I'm gonna try to rush up this last bit. If that's all you guys were here for, was the game stuff. Get on out of here. I think I'm gonna do some channel updates real quick in a minute, and maybe just talk about Space Marine 2. I'm pumped for Space Marine 2. I think Space Marine 2 is gonna be an amazing game. I think it's 4 or higher for all of the categories.
I know, brother. You have not played it. Do not.
I'm not selling anybody on it, but
Stop it. Brother, you thought the Illuminate were coming out in the last Helldivers patch. You are an optimist.
Shut up.
Get that shit out of here.
Shut up.
Like, the developers clearly had passion for their project. The reviewers say it's good, but don't judge it until it's out. Yeah. All right? Listen, I've been burned before. I've been abused by Darktide.
See, I'm an optimist and you're a narcissist. Is that the other one?
No, pessimist. Narcissist.
Pessimist. Yeah.
No, dude.
It's been a while since I've been in school.
When it comes to video games, I'm very much a pessimist for releases. But I mean, the June gameplay trailers gave me a lot of hope for Space Marine 2.
I'm so ready to be a Black Templar with a bolt pistol and chainsword.
Like I don't know how the replayability is going to be, but we'll see. I mean, I'm going to play a lot with buddies. I don't know if it's something I'm going to be grinding alone, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, maybe Nick will even invite me to play with him.
Oh, shut up, dude. I have I think it's like you, me, and Zach are, I think, the people, like Zach from the server. I think we're going to try and get a campaign going. Either that or maybe Ramir. I don't know. There's a lot of people.
So that's it for Warhammer Games. Some quick channel updates real quick. We got a Discord now. It is in the bio. I'll probably have in the pinned comments. Holy shit, the last video did absolutely amazing. I am losing my mind. I've been checking YouTube Studio every 5 minutes.
I'm aware he sends me over Discord like, yo,
I update him every oh my god, we're almost at X amount of subscribers.
Yeah, what about fucking work?
Teaching.
No, dude, I mean, I'm absolutely with you. Part of me, again, I think it's the rampant pessimism with it's a little bit of YouTube slop and we got lucky.
Yeah, it was pretty sloppy.
I mean, I think the fact that we did something so community oriented helped, and I think the community was receptive to that. We were kind
of close with a good bit of them.
I'm surprised, dude.
I thought a lot of them were going to be pretty far off base. There were some that are a little off base. I think the Black Templars maybe. Also, by the way, I'm not doing Dark Angels anymore. When the channel art comes out, it's going to be a Black Templar. I'm going back to Black Templars.
Yeah. Also, sorry, Grey Knight players.
Yeah, he apologizes. He doesn't mean it. He dissed y'all again before the video started.
You don't just dry brush. You also sometimes use yellow contrast paint to be gold. You use 3 paints instead of 2. I'm sorry.
We have an editor now. We got new channel art coming. I have to shout out a comment. Wade Wolf Gang, underrated fan. He gave everything a timestamp.
Holy shit!
And he responded to every single book in the book episode. He gave his own book recommendations.
Yo, you want to put him on? What?
So yeah, I have to shout him out. What else? I mean, just thank you. It's insane. I almost don't even want. You know what? I'm gonna let you guys. I'm not even gonna ask for the subscribe and like and the YouTube pleasantries. I think y'all made up for it last video.
No, still give us those pleasantries. We need to keep this train going, dude. He's got the needle. He's got the needle in his arm.
Well, if you really want to help, commenting helps a lot. Get in the discussion. Give your thoughts on Warhammer games, and I mean that's my favorite part is just going through all these comments.
Keep in mind, we've also only did the games here that we've played ourselves. If you have a game that...
Yes, we know we didn't cover Fire Warrior. Yes, we know we didn't cover... I don't know. Name another Warhammer game.
It's okay. I heard that Fire Warrior sucks, so...
what is it? Freeblade, the night game on...
Oh, the mobile game? Yeah.
I love it. I played as a kid. I can't even get onto it anymore because it won't load.
Shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have any other video games that you want to talk to us about, or 40k adjacent things, I know lots of people are into the Arma scene for Warhammer 40k.
Non-official Arma comments, people were so called out.
Yo, my Arma players, bro.
Join the Bolters and Banter Discord if you guys want to actually get discussions going. And you know what? Play some games. I don't have friends to play with.
Yeah, Tyler, this has all been a scheme for Tyler to get people to play 40k games.
No, Nick, this has been a scheme for 2 things. 1, getting more friends, and 2, just so I can do a collab with Poor Hammer and Adeptus Ridiculous.
Brother, no,
it has all been a scheme.
Brother, we're not getting that far. This is
one day, Nick.
This is a family-owned, privately owned slot farm. They've got the commercial grade.
No, there's another comment. It's like you guys are like the poor hammer in a good way.
Yeah, the poor man's poor hammer. Yeah,
The poor
this
man's
is
poor hammer.
homegrown. We don't get
From the
paid for
dirt.
this. From
Our editor Talis isn't paid.
Yeah. By the way,
Also, let us know how he did on this video.
be nice to him. If you're mean to
Yeah,
Talis,
be
I'm
nice.
quitting.
Don't be mean.
I'm leaving. You fuckers don't deserve me if you don't deserve Talis. He's an amazing guy.
Anyways, I think that's it for this video. Nick, is there anything else you wanna cover?
Nope. I just, I'm glad that video games have been such a gateway to this hobby of ours. I hope this is giving you some ideas of what games maybe to start with based on what you're looking for, whether they're worth picking up. And
yeah,
we're a bunch of nerds. Have fun playing video games.
Also, give us some video suggestions. I think we'll probably cover something about the tabletop next.
Yeah, we'll try and go from there. Bye-bye.
Also, let me know. Are you Team Jacob or Team Edward? Because I just watched all of the Twilight movies with my girlfriend, and I don't know how anybody likes Jacob.
Okay, so first we had the dinosaur comment.
I'm gonna keep this a theme.
All right, the end game, the end video thing.
the extra credits at the end.
By the way, the correct answer is Team Charlie.
It is. Goodbye.
Bye.